Hello, good morning. Welcome to This Morning. I am Mamadou Mboj, and I'm joined today, once again this week. I think this is our second pairing by the other Mamadou Gajaga. Today we are presenting This Morning.
It's a pleasure to be here, always. Things are coming really fast. I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Absolutely. It just takes one, doesn't it? Then the second and the third, and suddenly,
before you know it,
you're very familiar. You are at home.
Yeah,
absolutely. So as usual, first we'll go through the African proverb. This is our thought for the day, really. To set people off, sort of. And then afterwards we'll have the newspaper review. We've got Bala Musa Kurubali here today. And then after that segment, we'll have GNOC, that's Gambia National Olympic Committee, is it?
Yes.
Gears up for the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games. So the CAN Communication Officer at GNOC will be here. And then our final segment, that's the TED Fund Playathon. That's the Tertiary and Higher Education Fund. We'll be joined by Dr. Jojo Nur Tambedu, Executive Director of that fund, and Kumbale Good, Director, Infrastructure and Strategic Partnerships, that fund. So that's our lineup for today. So what do? We start off straight away with the African proverb, the thought for the day. People will never agree, but rain will make them all run for shelter.
What an interesting proverb.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So who's going to go first? Let's have our newspaper review, guys.
Anybody should go first.
I'm just seeing this, and I'm trying to process it, and
People will never agree, you see? But rain will make them all run for shelter.
Yeah. Wow.
Extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, when disaster struck, nobody tells the other person, where should we run to hide? And, we may disagree, but if something comes that is beneficial to both of us, we will be in agreement, at least at that particular period.
Reality, yes.
So.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting, but, it's like when, you tell someone, anyway, don't go to this place because it's dangerous, and the person decides, Gajaga is just talking, and when you go and you find out for yourself it's dangerous, no one will tell you not to go there again or to run away. So it's just also like human beings, we are like that in nature, I believe. Sometimes we tend to, disagree with things, even though we know, it's trying to make sense, but we refuse to believe sometimes. We're just stubborn in nature, I would say. But sometimes when we are caught up with reality, those things you can escape from, definitely.
That's it. So with me, I see it as, for instance, with people can agree with politics, society, all the world of ideas, yes? But there are certain natural, as it were, the natural world sort of makes us all equal.
Yes,
absolutely.
In many ways,
in
many ways. So certain natural circumstances sort of equalizes everything. Never mind our agreements on politics, society, culture, philosophy, never mind all of that. But, we find ourselves in this flipping natural world, and we all tend to behave in the same way.
Absolutely.
So ultimately, we are all one, really. I think that's really what I'm getting from this, ultimately.
It doesn't matter our social status, it doesn't matter our hierarchy in society. Yes, but
we face a similar world.
There's this saying is it in Mandinka? I don't know if I'll have the direct translation in English, which says, if you see the sheep, the goat, and the cow or whatever in one room, know that it's raining.
It's raining, yes. Exactly, that one.
Because usually you will not see them together. But when you see them together, it's the rain, because it's raining.
Because
so
they're
all looking for shelter,
Different being different characters. But if it starts raining, obviously, they look at some old house somewhere where they can get shelter at least for that particular period.
So for that period, they come together. So
exactly.
So that's really the key takeaway, really. We may have our differences and all the rest of it, but there's a lot that also unifies
us.
So let us not sort of focus on the divisive, the polarizing stuff. There's the unifying. Sometimes let's celebrate
just like I always say, politicians will come and say, Mr. Mboj will come with his party and say, Gajaga is in power, he's not doing well. When I come in power, I'm going to do A, B, and C. And Bala will come with his own party and say the same thing, So Bala's approach towards national development and that of Mboj is different from Gajaga, you know. But that does not mean Gajaga do not mean well for the country. You know, Gajaga means well, but I feel like what Gajaga is doing is not the right thing to take us to where we want to be. Mboj also might disagree with me, so that's it. But at the end, we all want the same thing. Yes. That is, we want this country to move forward. We want the development of this country. So that's why when you see the politicians come together, and you know, the last time you mentioned this to me when we were talking about politics here and people jumping from a party, you told me, you know what? There are no permanent enemies in politics. So that tells you sometimes some of these things bring us together. It unifies us because of one common goal. And in politics, literally, I think politics literally defines this provides itself.
In many ways, and so many different areas. The first shock, I must call it, it was at high school. We went to this court case. You had Cheke Dako as the DPP, and there was Sam George on the other side. So the jousting, the court drama, it was unbelievable, heated, brilliant, two brilliant people. So when there was a recess, the two of them stood apart, we were laughing and enjoying themselves, talking. You know, I looked, I was young. I said, man, that's weird. I thought that it would be, you know, your own side, doing your own thing. No, every recess, you see them chatting, laughing, enjoying themselves. But in the battleground, when they come back to court, it's a completely different ball game. So I learned something very, very valuable. You are not enemies.
No.
You are just opponents, stuff like that, for a while, but you are not enemies. It's important to get that distinction between an opponent. You get that everywhere in sports. Everything. You will get opponents,
fierce rivalry,
enemies, fierce rivalry, but not enemy, not enmity. We must not bring enmity, animus into the discussion. I think that's really the key.
That's the key there.
The key takeaway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Cheers. So I think we can go straight to the newspaper review. What have we got? The Gaj. That's what I call Mumu the Gaj.
Oh, the Gaj. Okay. Okay, which one are you starting with?
What have you got? Have they sent the headlines?
I have Foroya here.
You have Foroya?
Yeah, but I should not be the one to read the headlines for you, right?
So I think just, a gist of the newspaper. Yeah, for the Foroya, government owes Social Security more than $816 million on behalf of NAWEC. Wow.
There's a huge sum there.
That's a huge sum.
Yes, so what are they going to do? Are they going to pay it? If you owe somebody something, you have to pay it.
You have to pay it, absolutely.
You have to pay it. Yeah, we know that NAWEC, for instance, God.
That is close to $1 billion.
Yeah. And for me, it's like this is not the first time, you know, we see things like this, you know, with NAWEC. So I asked myself, okay, I know NAWEC is like a public, public institution, public enterprise, and yes. So basically, it's not more of profit making, but you know, delivering service to the public and all that. But you know, looking at the way they operate, of course, we expect there to be little profit, so they can use that, you know, to upgrade their systems or to better the energy sector, you know. But with all the money that is being pumped into NAWEC, to be quite honest, you know, we are still struggling. And for me, I will not, you know, I heard a lot of people disagree with the issue of importation of energy, you know, into our country from the sub-region. For me, that is normal. It happens, you know, everywhere in the world. But for me, the point is like with all this money that we are pumping into this sector, we are still struggling. You know, so Social Security, owing NAWEC, is it 810 million?
816 million.
16 million. That is, the government takes that money from the Social Security and pumping it into NAWEC on behalf of NAWEC. So now, how will the payment? Like you said, if you take a loan, you should pay. So why is this coming up? Is it because NAWEC have not paid? And it will be interesting to know when was this loan actually given to NAWEC, so we can be able to go in detail. You know.
And like you mentioned, Balak, so NAWEC is one institution from 2017 to date, since the coming of the new Barrow administration. We've seen lots of funds coming into the institution, most of it World Bank. If you put it together, we're talking about close to $500 million. Yeah. So why can't that money be utilized in a way, invested into the energy sector to a point that, you know, you wouldn't need government bailout? Because it keeps happening almost like over and over.
Yes. And for me, the important thing is that these days we refer to our public enterprises as if they were sort of welfare institutions. they're not supposed to make profit.
Profit.
That is not true. Otherwise, we wouldn't have called them enterprises.
Enterprises, yeah.
There's a very good reason why we call them enterprises. You expect them to make profit, maybe not much.
Yes.
So
That's why I
this
said they should at least make profit. Yeah.
This is really where the key is.
Bring returns.
Because that's you have to think about the average person, what they can afford. So you have to take all of that into account in your pricing of whatever goods or services you're giving people, granted. But now we have settled into this thing that they're not supposed to make profits. That is not true.
Absolutely.
You know, way back from Jawahar's period, I remember Sheriff Sekubah Ceesay giving us budget speeches and praising a few enterprises, not praising them, but mentioning the enterprises that made profits and those that didn't.
Yeah.
And we are warning those that didn't, they had to make certain reforms to make them profitable.
I mean, this year, even
You have to
GRTS
reform
is
to
a
make them
public,
profitable.
broadcasting. Yeah. But even GRTS has to pay, is it dividend they call it? To
Dividend,
the government.
yeah.
To the government.
And how do you
saw
pay
that.
dividend?
Yeah, if you
Based
don't
on
make
profits.
profit, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, and this is not the, like I said, this is not the first time, we are seeing things like this. And before, we had like, in all the regions, we had power station. I'll not call them power plants, but we had power stations in all the regions. Now, all those power stations are not functional.
Almost obsolete.
No, they're not. Because,
they're obsolete.
like, when I went to Basse the last time, I'm like, oh, when Senelec goes off, I know they supply the whole of this region and CRR. Do you have your generators on standby? I was disappointed when I was told they only had one working, and when that one is on, it only supplies maybe part of Basse, so which means CRR is totally off. So I think the investment there, we are not seeing it. We are not seeing it, because when you look at it currently, I think almost, if it is not 30 to 40% of our electricity is imported. The few that we generate here from Brikama Power Station Island is even the one that is more, effective compared to the Koto Power Station now. So we see all these things. You ask yourself, like I said, all this money that is coming in, where is it going to?
Actually.
And NAWEC, remember, was it in 2022, had to increase the cost for electricity. Because they said, because they said they were not making enough to be able to, invest in other areas because they were running at losses. So they had to increase the tariffs. I mean, we all saw that. So they increased the tariffs, I believe, is because they wanted to make profit.
That's it. But what we import is more than what we
generate. So you see, so
exactly.
There was a time here we spoke to NAWEC, and I asked them of everything we consume, how much of it is internally generated. At first, it was between 18 and 20%. Sometime afterwards, spoke to the same person, he said about 40. I said, fine, I will grant you that. I cannot fact check that. But even that means 60% is from outside.
Outside, yes.
So it's okay to get from outside, but it should be maybe the other way
Other
around.
way
We will generate 70%, for instance, and maybe the 30 we get from here, there, and all the rest of it. So that's really what it is.
I saw the last time they said they're investing, I can't remember the amount of money they mentioned that they're investing into renewable energy in Jara Soma. That is in LRR. It's a 50 megawatt solar plant. So by the time that is done, that also is going to, add a lot to the national power grid. But access to electricity, when you say they always come up with that, one is not questioning that.
Yes.
Maybe if all this funding is going to access to electricity, we'll say, okay, we've seen that. A lot of communities, underserved communities, one would say, or who didn't have electricity or roads before. We've seen they all have electricity now. That area, granted. But the stability of the electricity, that is a big question mark.
Yes.
And you've touched on it. You said when you went to the power plants, whatever you call them, the generator wasn't working, or there was only one. It's a managerial issue at the very heart of the matter. Yes, there is a capacity, infrastructural issue, but there's also a managerial issue at the heart of the matter.
Absolutely.
Especially from this crisis that we've just come out of. We are sort of trying.
We haven't come out of it. I think we are trying to come out of it.
Maybe we've escaped the worst. Possibly we've escaped the worst, but still we are within it. So maybe we need to look to the managerial systems and see how one can improve that. You'll be surprised how much you can improve the overall effect just by improving your management. Anyway, to another story. Is it still? I haven't got.
Yeah. So another one on the Point newspaper. It talks about ethnicity attacks won't stop my ambition. That is Talib Ahmed Bensouda in a recent interview.
That is not something new in Gambian politics. Maybe Mboj, I don't know whether I agree or disagree, because he has been here since the days of Jawara. We can only talk about Jammeh and what is happening today. But we know it's nothing new, attacks with ethnicity, trying to profile, you know, political candidates in a certain way, you know, but that's nothing new in Gambian politics. But one thing I know is, you know, I think as a country we should do away with things like this, you know. We should not judge people, you know, who want to who want public office based on their ethnicity, you know, based on, you know, their color or whatever. It should be based on, you know, what the people, what they're selling. That is the manifesto. It's based on the, you know, the integrity of the person. You know, there's so many things we can look at. For me, the ethnicity is the last thing, and it's unfortunate that that is playing, you know, a very big role. I will not say key, but a big role in our politics, unfortunately.
Yes, we cannot help it because our ethnicity is part of our identity.
Yeah.
So maybe I, as a politician, how do I use it? We've seen politicians use it for good. We can see them also use it for ill, as it were. It just depends on how it is used. But we really cannot remove ethnicity out of our politics because it's so much our identity. The national identity have not been able to submerge the ethnic identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, any society in the world, even modern nation states, they used to have ethnicities.
Yes.
But for some reason, gradually, in time,
No,
they became a nation. The nation state.
Mr. Boyd, okay, I agree with you, but I tend to disagree one way. That is to say, it's part of us. We can do away with it. We can, of course.
No,
because
we can't.
No, we can. Mr.
Why do we keep on? Why are we talking about it? This is what happens
That's
all
what I'm
the time.
saying. So we have to talk about it. We have to come up with, you know, policies and also to do away with it. Like look at
maybe
Rwanda.
in a positive way.
Look at Rwanda. No, in a positive way. I'm saying. Look at Rwanda today. We know the genocide that happened in Rwanda. Was it in 1994 or something like that? We have seen what happened there. But what Kagame did, he came with laws. You know, that actually, you know, try to end or kill the issue of tribalism and other stuff. So we should have the same in this country. Because trust me, Gajaga, the way...
You are not going to know the effect of what Kagame has done until perhaps he's left power 10 years, 20 years, then you properly see the effect. This could be a temporary stuff because they're scared. Once he's gone, it comes back because he hasn't taken any roots.
But they are laws.
Be careful.
Those are laws. You know, those are laws, you know. No matter who comes, unless you amend them or you refuse to implement, you know, those laws. But the laws are there. Like in the Gambia,
So
we have very beautiful laws on paper.
Nobody
but, you know.
cares. So you do not know the effect, the social effect, really long term, until he's gone. He's doing all of that. But we've seen around the world how the national identity overwhelmed without laws. It's just by living gradually society evolving. That's really what it is. So with us, we'll keep on talking about it. We talk about it all the time. But this is how people define themselves, even the so-called educated ones. You see, the idea that you shouldn't allow ethnicity to influence your political decisions and all of that, fine. But normally the educated class, that's where you would expect them to really reading manifestos.
Yes.
They don't.
But they don't.
We all know.
That's it. So you're thinking that it's about ideas that will sort of make you gravitate towards one party or another or towards one candidate or another. But we are quite emotional.
But that's why
for me, I see it as kind of a cult way of thinking. You know, you're stuck into, you know, your identity. Fine, it's your tribe. You know, that's how you were born. That's how you see yourself being identified of a particular group. But if it has intoxicated in your mind to a point that, okay, you don't see anything, you know, apart from that, I think,
okay.
Then it becomes
with the way people think currently and with the way they go about talking about, you know, tribes and all that, people like me should not think of, you know, going in for public office because we are not even up to 0.5 of the population, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So these are things that we should actually do away. You talked about other countries who actually have tribes, but you know, they sell this kind of sense of nationalism also. A good example, when I taught China, when I went to China, I taught Chinese itself. You know, that like the Mandarin, that's the language that everybody speaks. But I was told, no, they have, you know, up to, should I say, 100 plus, you know, languages within. But it's like that, they're all united within that common language. And they all, you know, have this sense of nationalism in them. Come on. And in Africa, like I gave example of Rwanda, I know other African countries are going through the same thing. Like when I met with some of my Kenyan friends, they told me the same thing. Their tribe is a big issue in Kenya. But let's go next door. Senegal.
Yes, Senegal, yes.
We don't have these issues in Senegal, Mr. Boyd. We don't.
Yes. It's like especially in their body politics.
In Senegal, the president will address the nation in French and then speak Wolof. Yes. Then that means he's like spoken to the whole country. But here, when the president speaks in English, that's it. What other language is he going to speak? Because if he speak Wolof, you'll be like, oh, he should speak Mandinka. Oh, he should speak Fula. He should speak Manjago. So, you know.
That's precisely the difference. That's why maybe Senegal's been so stable.
Yes.
As it were.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, 60% the last time I checked call themselves Wolofs.
Yeah.
And it seems there's a national consensus that they've all rallied around the language.
Yes.
Yeah, the
It's
language,
almost
yeah.
like a national language.
Exactly.
So you don't have that linguistic divisions
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
mainly your language is really follows the lines of your ethnicity, isn't it? Language and ethnicity.
Yeah.
So you don't have that issue.
I was asked this question, by some of my African friends, like, say, what is your national language?
That's it.
I said English. They said, no,
No.
that's official. I mean,
No,
your
no,
national
no,
language.
see?
I said, we don't have
We
any.
We don't have
They're
any.
like, what?
Yeah.
They said, we don't have any.
We don't.
Because,
Yeah, because in Kenya they have Swahili.
yeah, they have Swahili, so we don't.
Exactly.
So I think Senegal it should be a good example
Good
to the
example.
Gambia, when it comes to these
with
issues
them,
of tribalism.
Nobody
and all that.
designed it.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with them, I think the early education from the 1870s, they were sending representatives to the Chamber of Deputies, sending people, with their assimilation. So by the time Senegal had independence in 1960 or so, they had built up a massive educated middle class. They could produce people like Senghor, Cheikh Anta Diop, world class.
But you said here, in this country we have educated people, like you said. But how many of them will take manifestos of political parties to read? Very few, maybe just one
Well,
or
in the beginning,
0.5%.
Some
Don't you
even if
think-
they are well read, but they still inscribe to this issue of tribe.
No, I think the first
more than
generation,
any
the independence
other thing.
generation, they were serious. Those who had independence, they were very serious. They were still idealistic. Then afterwards, I think disappointment.
Yeah.
We became disappointed with politics because we were not seeing anything. Then we just started disengaging gradually. And look at it now.
I think we have a
are
lot
all
to do as a
cynical,
country.
aren't we? We are all very cynical about
Absolutely.
politics now,
Politics,
isn't
absolutely.
in our way.
it? And that's
Yeah.
not very nice.
Yeah, so
give us another
The final
story.
newspaper on the Standard, it talks about government to pay over $1 million is owed to farmers by SECO.
Oh, they still do that?
Yes.
I was thinking that no longer exists.
Just yes.
Government. Because the last one, there was a president of a SECO. He was even arrested because government said they had given all the money to the SECOs.
SECOs, yes, yes.
So it was up to the SECO,
SECO,
the administrators, the head.
That's
to
why I
pay
said,
the farmers.
I didn't know that still
Finally.
exists.
I think there
because,
was somebody arrested. I can't
Yeah.
remember the exact details now, but something like that.
because I know someone who told me, I
But-
took my groundnut to the SECO and, they paid on the spot.
On the spot,
I don't know,
yeah.
was
I
it
think
using-
usually that's
was it
what
Ajib
happens.
Bank Q money or something like that at the time. So I don't know. Maybe this is from last year. What I'm saying was from like 2 years ago.
Well, this is the standard piece, isn't it? But they've got the Minister of Agriculture's
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
Dr.
So it's
Demba
from, it means it's
Sabali.
from the
Dr.
government.
Sabali.
Is it from the government?
Government,
Well,
yeah.
some of these.
I know they're trying to do even people who come from the sub-region. We have other people come from like Guinea-Bissau, Senegal to come here and buy groundnut from our farmers directly. I think that was something that they put out a press release.
Press
to say
release,
that
yeah,
it's-
to discourage
yeah,
something
to
like
discourage things like that. But if you keep owing farmers, that it will be very difficult for you to stop that because then those people coming from the sub-region, they pay cash.
Cash,
like,
yeah.
there's on the spot. There is nothing like loans, and then you struggle to get the money back from the government or something like that. So I think there's a lot that should be done in that area, investment, making sure if we really want to support the farmers and also improve that sector, because we know groundnut is one of our main exports, still. Unfortunately, since when I was in grade 1, I think we were told that I think that is what still exists, So I think that sector should really be funded to be able to encourage and also support farmers to invest more in that sector because it is our main exports for now.
That's it. So, let's take more stories. The Observer. Now, this is.
Is it
interesting.
Observer 24?
Is it the
Oh, they've got 24. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
That's the Observer 24.
It's not your Observer.
No.
Yeah.
I work for the Daily Observer.
Daily Observer?
I
That one is
know.
defunct now.
That one is defunct. Barrow seeks update on OIC support for Rohingya case during talks with senior official. That's the Organization of Islamic
Oh, okay.
Conference.
Conferences, yeah.
Yeah.
Did
I
during
think
his
Gambia
recent
even had
visit to Saudi?
Saudi. I think
Saudi
he met
absolutely.
OIC officials. Yeah.
Officials,
I know that.
okay.
Mhm.
Mhm. So yes, that's it.
Is that all you have?
No. We have a few more minutes to go. This is interesting. High Court delays key statements in ex-Lance Minister's trial. And they've got, I think, this is Abasanya.
Abasanya,
Yeah,
They've got it.
Abasanya.
Yeah.
It's been going on. It's been
Yeah.
long trial,
I
isn't
think,
it?
Yeah, it started mid last year,
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Accused of.
I think, yeah, land, there has to be some land
inappropriate
dealings,
behavior and that sort of thing.
Something like that, yeah.
Misuse.
We can go far with that. I think it is still
Yeah,
before the
still
courts.
out.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Ongoing
there.
court case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let me, which one is this? Okay, DLEAG, that's the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. That's
yeah.
it. Arrests 20 suspects in major drug bust.
Yes, I think.
And just next to it, this is interesting, 231 arrested in Dakar with drugs. What's going on?
Which paper is that?
This is the
Observer
Observer 24.
okay.
What is going on here?
Yeah, I think recently the Drug Law Enforcement Agency of the Gambia have been doing very well, in terms of making arrest drug cases, because they update their social media pages regularly, as to arrests that they make within a period. Sometimes within 2-3 weeks, they will make arrests of up to 40 individuals. But to my surprise, and they will highlight foreigners as people who are arrested maybe with a lot, like a chunk of it. But most of the time, Gambians are involved. They are the peddlers, they're involved. And very young people, because, last time I read something like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old. I'm like,
they're the ones who are most vulnerable to that
Yeah.
peddling, at
Yeah,
least
the
that
peddling,
level.
yeah, that level. Because, you see
of
them,
use
they
and
seem
peddling
so
and
innocent.
stuff
You don't, associate them with things like that, So I think
And that's
it's-
when you are more vulnerable.
Yeah.
You see, when you are a teenager, you are just so vulnerable to all sorts of influences.
So what does it say about us in terms of, let's say, a country? Yes, our Drug Law Enforcement Agency putting in a lot of effort with government to fight against the menace of drug trafficking and drug abuse in general, but it still persists. You don't see like maybe the numbers going down almost like every time it goes up.
Like for me, it's like, I think it has to do also with community engagement, like sensitization and things. Because I can remember when I was going to school, I don't know if you also had that in your school, we used to have like peer health, educators, we used to have like activists when they just started.
Yeah.
So these people basically will do dramas, will organize community activities just to discourage us with things like, use of drugs, early pregnancy here and there, teen pregnancy, things like that. So at the time, that really counted for me. That was where I even started to know a lot about myself, like from the peer health,
Yes,
and all
exactly,
that.
yeah.
And trust me, Mr. Boy, I used to move with a lot of boys. We were 5 in number. All of them, I will say most of them were smoking, except for 2 of us who were not. I've never smoked in my life because, of the things I remember that they always say, in the videos that we watch or the dramas that if you smoke, this is what it does. So I think we should bring back things like that to discourage the young people from going into drugs. Smoking is one part of it, but also the peddling aspect of it or the drug dealing aspect of it is the bigger problem.
You see in your group the 2 who smoked, you said?
The 2 who didn't smoke. I was lucky to be
didn't,
one
but
of the-
others did.
Others did.
You will always have the others who would. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Never mind what you had, still there were some who did.
No, absolutely.
Thank you very much. I'm Balamus.
But okay, we ending it. But the thing is,
yeah, this is good, yes.
a quick one, no. But the thing is, it's not about the
No, but I
petty
get-
ones.
I
It's
get-
about the hard drugs that are
I
coming
get-
into this
I
country,
get-
like the pills
Exactly.
that we see that are new to
I
us,
get- I get-
and those
yeah.
are the ones that are really causing the damage in the
Yeah,
country.
that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very rare. Thank you very much.
You're
Cheers.
welcome.
Okay, we'll just take a short break. When we return, who should we have? Sedikan
Yes.
from GNOC,
Yes.
Gambia National Olympic
Olympic
Committee.
Committee.
We'll see you in a mo.
Join the biggest network with the cheapest tariff in the Gambia and enjoy crystal clear calls and super fast internet at the cheapest tariff only with QCell. Rush now and grab your free QCell SIM card today from any of our care centers near you. QCell, the biggest network with the cheapest tariff. QCell Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
In December 2026, Gambians head to the polls to choose a president, and history may hang in the balance. As the day draws near, every week, right up to decision day, QTV will lead the political conversation. And nobody breaks it down like QTV. Our team of experts will help you understand the results as QTV brings you Decision 2026, a weekly program dissecting the issues, driving the debate, and giving Gambians a front row seat to the hottest topics for the defining election of our time. Here, differing views put forward and challenged, manifestos dissected and explained. Stay informed, stay engaged. Stay tuned to QTV for everything you need to know about this year's election. Decision 2026, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Only on QTV.
Q Money is changing the game with mobile money payment. Now, you can pay your QCell mobile broadband plan faster, easier, and way more convenient with your Q Money wallet. Just open the Q Money app or dial *323#. Select option 4 to buy or pay your broadband plan in seconds. No stress, no lines, no last-minute panic. Whether you're streaming your favorite shows, browsing the web, or working from home, stay connected without missing a beat. Stay connected the easy way with QMoney's QCell mobile broadband payments anytime, anywhere. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Senior Carpet. Terms and conditions apply.
In today,
Hello, welcome back to this morning. I am Mamadou Mbouch, and I'm presenting today with Mamadou Gagdika, the two Mamadous.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now, Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games begins later on in the month, 23rd. So how are we preparing for that? Now we've got in the studio Seydi Khan, the communication officer at GNOC, the Gambia National Olympic Committee. Welcome to the program, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, and then good morning to all the viewers watching QTV right now, live across on this morning. It's my pleasure to be on this platform.
That's it. Just as I said, now Olympic Games. How are we preparing? Where do you begin?
Yeah, I mean, the Gambia National Olympic Committee, but in this case, the Commonwealth Sports Association of the Gambia is preparing basically 100% ready to represent the Gambia at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow 2026. That is scheduled from the 23rd to the 2nd of August 2026. And then the Gambia Commonwealth Sports Association, that is the same as the Gambia National Olympic Committee, but for Commonwealth Games, it is under the purview of the Gambia Commonwealth Sports Association of the Gambia. So we are ready. The athletes are already selected. Officials are confirmed. Everything is confirmed. Just a matter of days for the first batch of Gambians to be in that plane. I'm going to Glasgow to represent the green red bull. Yeah.
Before our sports expert comes
Yes.
in, you said our athletes selected already. How do we select them? Do we have a trials? I think the US, they have national trials. How do we select ours?
I mean, so for the athlete selection, it's rested basically on the national associations. There are criteria set in some of the events by their international federations. We call them the IF, or their continental bodies. So basically, prior to the games, qualifiers are conducted. So national associations attended qualifiers. So if you qualify, I mean, those qualifications are basically sent to the GNOC for those sports and then the athletes to be considered for international competition. But in some cases, a quota system is used. Maybe the parent body, in this case the Commonwealth Sports, might send a quota system to the Gambia that in the Glasgow Games, these are the number of sports that are invited from the Gambia. So now the GNOC will work in hand with the respective national association to see that athlete A have the qualification standard to represent Gambia in this particular competition. So basically, that is rested on the soldiers of the national associations.
Sedikan, who are some of these outstanding athletes that the Gambia expect a good performance from? I remember in Birmingham, I was there with you. We saw Faye Alex Jai win silver medal after so many years since the Edinburgh Games when Sheikh Omar Faye won the bronze medal. This time a little better, that's the silver medal. Are we expecting any top Gambian athlete on the podium this time?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that is the ultimate objective. to see that Gambia excel in wherever we are, in whatever game that we represent the country. As I said, 12 athletes selected from 4 different codes. That is athletics, track and field, judo, swimming, and then cycling. And then track and field is led by Gina Mariam Bass Bite, household name in the Gambia. In fact, the most decorated track and field athlete in Gambian history, 3 times Olympian. So we're expecting that Gambia is going to do well at the Glasgow Games, and then we are with the strongest conviction that we will be on the podium. As you said, back in Birmingham in 2022, Fine Jai broke the 52-year weight after winning silver in judo. As you said, Sektijan was the first Gambian in 1970 at Edinburgh Games to win a medal at the Commonwealth Games. So we're going back to the UK again. All this history have been in the UK.
Back to Scotland.
Yes,
to Scotland.
1970 in Edinburgh. 2026
Glasgow. That's where the first history was made.
Exactly. So now with that, we're expecting history is going to repeat itself, that we're going to come home with the gold medal, and basically to be our first gold medal from a major multi-sport games. Because as you know, we are yet to win a medal from Olympic Games. Yes, we have 2 medals from the Commonwealth Games. But again, now we're looking forward not to come with one goal, not for Gina Bass or for Alex Njai, but the Nima Satas, the Aisatu, the Sire, the Abdurrahman, the swimmers, Pab Jonga, and then of course the Usman, and then the Alu Jammeh, to be on that podium and to come home with a lot of medals.
When it comes to sort of the athletics, for instance, yeah, you mentioned Gina Mariam Bass. She's the queen, the track queen. Everybody knows that. But the younger generation, is there any talent emerging? After all, Gina is getting on. Sooner or later, it will be curtains. That's the nature of sports. Any young talent emerging?
Yeah, I will just draw your memory back to 2025 when we were in Riyadh at the Islamic Solidarity Games. He was there with us. We came home with bronze medal in the women 4x100 meter. This is without Gina Mariam Bass Bite. These were 4 ambitious, talented young Gambian sprinters. That is Aissatou Sy, Nimasata Jaune, Mariama Kamara, and then of course Jalika Bajinka. And then 2 of these athletes will be with us in Glasgow. So I mean, in the track and field, the GAA is basically working hard that the story or the legacy of Gina is not going to die down when Gina is out of the spotlight. I mean, you have the likes of Aissatou Sy, who is basically one of the best sprinters right now in the country. I mean, she was in the finals of the Islamic Solidarity Games, both 100 and 200 meters, and then she finished 4th. And then, of course, you have Nima Sata, who is definitely coming up. So I can safely say yes. There are young breeds of female athletes that are definitely making names. And I can tell you, these athletes can make history in Glasgow.
Do we have the resources and the infrastructure to train athletes, yeah, to the level that you will go to the Commonwealth Games and realistically hope to win a medal? Or do we need some of our elite athletes to go looking for other facilities in other countries?
I mean, that's a very important question. I mean, and then I know it's an open secret. Infrastructure is basically hard to find in the Gambia. Like as we speak, there's no track at the Independence Stadium. It is under rehabilitation or renovation, any words you wanted to call it. But again, from the side of the Gambia National Olympic Committee, we invest in a lot of energy and resources to see that any international game that is under the purview of the GNOC, that our athletes are well prepared. As we speak, the track and field home-based athletes are in Senegal, having an intensive 10-day training camp at the Leopold Sedar Senghor Stadium. Gina and Ibrahima, and then we have five athletes that are based abroad. that are under the GNOC Olympic Solidarity Scholarship. So all of them are based in France, where they have access to high-level training facilities. As we speak, Gina and Ibrahim are in Portugal, where they are having a 10 days training camp. A couple of days ago, Gina was on the track in the Braga meeting, where she won gold medal. Aliou Diouf is also based in France. A couple of days ago, she was in the French National Athletic Championship, where she got where he got bronze. So yes, from the NOC, even though infrastructure is not available nationally in the country in terms of the swimmers, the judokas, the track and field athletes, but again, from the resources that are available to the NOC, they are investing it wisely to the athletes. Right now, we have 7 athletes across 4 disciplines that are under the Olympic Solidarity Scholarship that are at high-level training camps to see that at least by early 2028, Gambia is going to have, in Paris 2024, we went with 7 athletes. So early 2028, we want to go with more than 10 athletes. How do we do this? We need to start work now. And then this is what the GNOC is doing. The work starts immediately after we close the curtain from Paris. Now looking forward for LA 2028. The NOC is investing resources. And then any games that the NOC is going, or the Gambia is going, the NOC makes sure that, we coordinate with the respective national associations to see that our athletes are given the opportunity. The cycling, because there's no track in the Gambia. This is the first time we're going with a cyclist to the Commonwealth Games or to a major international games. And then he needs to train, he needs facilities. The NOC is working hard to see that by the end of this week, the cyclist is in the UK, where he will have at least 10 days training to focus and then get used to the bikes, because there are different equipment, different facilities. So he needs to get used to what is ahead of him. So the NOC is definitely working harder to see that, athletes are given the opportunity that they deserve, because Gambia is no more a country that is going to international competitions to participate. We are competing. Wherever you hear the name Gina Bass, an athlete from the UK, from Jamaica, from South Africa, you'll be like, she's a threat. So with that, the duty bearer, and that is the NOC in this case, is definitely investing and focusing, because the slogan is athlete first.
Good. So just one more, now to logistics.
Yes.
What arrangements are being made in Scotland right now for our number? How many athletes are going this
12.
12. So what is being done? Accommodation, how does it go? Because, Mr. Gajaga, we've seen over the years sometimes athletes or sports people will go to an event and they tell you about the situation, they are not well done and all like that. So I wonder what's going on. How far?
A couple of months ago, our CDM, who also doubles as the second vice president, Bakari K. Jammeh, and then the executive director, who will be the team manager, they were in Glasgow for the CDM meeting, where they had the opportunity to visit all the facilities, the hotels, the accommodation. So I can tell you confidently, accommodation is sorted. All the members of the delegation secured their visa. Whatever is needed for the games is secured. So the 20th of this month, the first batch is leaving. But the CDM, the head of delegation, is going in advance. Is leaving in a couple of days to Glasgow to go and secure all the rooms and all the hotels that Team Gambia will be staying. Because normally at games, there are what we call athlete villages, athlete village.
Yes.
But for Glasgow 2026, because it's a downsized event, it's a downsized game, Australia is supposed to host it, but at the tail end of 2022, they withdrew. So United Kingdom came in to host, and then they gave the hosting right to Glasgow. So it's a downsized event. They didn't basically have any athlete village. So there are hotels that are identified. And then yes, the Gambia identify all the 3 hotels that our delegates will be staying. So I can tell you confidently that is secured. And then it's just a matter of time for the team to be in Glasgow. And then I can assure you the arrangements are perfect. And then the Gambian High Commission in London is also doing a very good work, a very good job to see that when the Gambian delegation get to UK, Glasgow precisely, all the logistics, accommodation, everything that we need as a delegation is in place.
That's it. Okay.
What are some of the lessons learned from Birmingham that could be used for the Glasgow Games? Because Birmingham, in terms of competition, wasn't that bad. You know, won a silver medal. Aside from that, also there were competitions in the 100, 200 meters.
Yeah.
Although there was an incident where the issue of visas. I think Mbojit was good. You asked that question concerning if everything is in place. This time we wouldn't have anything like, okay, 2 or 3 of our athletes missing because visa, and then they had to get clearance. I remember seeing that story on the BBC. Then the UK government had to intervene to let her clear their visas because they were based in Paris and then they had to come to the UK.
I mean, for Birmingham, you were there. Birmingham was not a very good experience in terms of administratively, that is the visa for some of our athletes that were based in France. I mean, but this year, we learned a lesson, and then that administrative hitches was basically an opportunity for us to learn and then make sure that this year we know that the same scenario is not going to repeat. As I said, this year is even easier because everybody is going with an e-visa. So I can tell you 100% all the members of the delegation secured their visas. I mean, Birmingham was not, because at least it even gave us, I think Gina missed the 100 meters. Then Abdurrahman couldn't even compete because he missed the judo competition. So it was bad, really, really bad. At the end of the day, what the Gambia did, we were basically the Honorable Minister and then sitting we were on BBC. And then the following day, at least we're in the plane coming to Birmingham without a visa. So you can see,
it became global headline, global sports headline.
A global headline because we felt we didn't deserve that treatment. So, but when the authorities were on BBC, then the British government was like, these people are serious. We need to get their athletes to UK. Within in the next plane leaving Paris de Gaulle, the Gambian delegation the Gambian athletes should be in this plane. So, but as I said, the GNOC started working on Glasgow 2026 an year ago. When we know that Glasgow is hosting this event, we started working. So everything is sorted. And then we are not anticipating any hitches in Glasgow. We are not anticipating any obstacles. I mean, sometimes there are unforeseen circumstances. But I mean, from our side, what is important is whatever is expected from the Commonwealth Sport Association of the Gambia, it is in place. The athletes are well prepared. When they go there, there is no issues of, I didn't get my allowances, I didn't get my bonus, I didn't get my tracksuit, I didn't get my shoe, I didn't get my materials, competition gears. Your focus will be focused on your competition, get to the podium, get us the gold medal, the silver and the bronze, and then come home on August 2nd with a historic medal haul, basically.
So they wouldn't complain about any of that because you've provided all of it.
I am confident so.
So that's it. Now, what next? The final run-up?
Yeah, the final run-up is basically we are having the press conference today to officially have an interface with the Gambian population through the media, tell them this is what the GNOC is up to, these are the athletes that are selected, this is the level of the preparation. The first batch is leaving on the 21st of July, that is early hours of Tuesday. So yes, everything is, the athletic team is basically in Senegal. They're coming back on the 22nd. On the 24th, they are joining in Glasgow, because the thing is, every sport you will come 2 days or 3 days before your competition, and you will basically leave 2 days after your competition. This is not the desire of the Commonwealth Sport Association of the Gambia. This is the regulation and then the arrangement from the Commonwealth Sports and the organizers of this game. So, as I said, the first batch is leaving the Gambia on the 21st, but the athletics, the judo, they will basically join us as their competition get closer. So another important thing that we are also organizing on the 26th, I think it is essential to make mention of that, is the Gambia Day. We are working hand in glove with the Gambian High Commission in London and then the Gambian Association in Glasgow to organize what we call the Gambia Day. So the Gambia Day is basically a day that is set aside on the 26th of July, where we're going to, our intention is to bring all the Gambians in the UK and in Europe, in the diaspora, to Glasgow on that day to have an interface with our athletes, to have an opportunity to see the athletes, the likes of Gina, you know, people who are watching Gajaga on TV can have the opportunity to see him, you know, physically at the Gambia Day. But also to see if we can untap the hidden talent of Gambians that are of Gambian origin, and then they definitely wanted to represent Gambia in a certain discipline, but maybe they didn't have the opportunity of who to reach to. So this is an opportunity for you to come to Gambia Day, have access to the Gambia National Olympic Committee, to the government of the Gambia, to the Minister of Youth and Sports, and then if you're talented and you're in Europe, you're in the UK, I mean, this is an opportunity. Or you can come and say, hey, you know me, I'm doing basketball, I'm doing boxing, I'm doing judo, swimming, I wanted to ice sport, hockey, or whatsoever. I wanted to represent the Gambia. And this is an opportunity for me to exchange contact with the GNOC and the government so that in the next African game or Olympics, please know that there's a talented young Gambian here who wanted to represent Gambia, even though maybe he's not, or they're not born in the Gambia, but at least they have a Gambian origin. And then also we want people in Glasgow and other Commonwealth Games Association to know, to see how unique Gambia is. And this is also a platform where we can promote Gambia as a top destination, a go-to destination. So we are organizing that on July 26th. We call it Gambia Day in Glasgow.
I'm surprised that you haven't got a kind of mechanism of attracting diaspora Gambians, as it were, because football does it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm sure other areas, other sports, as it were, I'm sure they all do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but I wonder, realistically, really, what would success look like? Obviously, we all wish that all of them will take gold. But realistically, what would success look like?
I mean, Gambia is basically one of the smallest Commonwealth nation countries. Let's say for West Africa, we're basically the smallest. So that is why wherever I have the opportunity to talk about our Commonwealth history, you know, even though we had one medal from Birmingham, but I mean, he knows the story, he was there. It was one of the most successful outing for the Gambia. Because for the simple reason is, we have athletes that they were not on the podium, but they perform exceptionally well. You know, like Woody Nyado was in the semi-final of the 200 meters. Gina Bass was in the finals of the 200 meters. The men 4x100 meter relay team, Adama Jammeh, Sengan Job, Ali Juve, and Ibrahim Kamana, were in the finals of the Commonwealth 4x100 meter relay. That's huge. Where Europe shoulders with countries like Jamaica, Canada, Australia, South Africa, Cameroon. So that was historic, basically. So, I mean, again, we're going to Glasgow. The ultimate objective and then the goal is to get all the medals in the 4 disciplines that we are participating. Basically, that is my wish, that's your wish, that's his wish. That's the wish of every Gambian, the 2.6 million Gambians, that's our wish. But again, going there, be a good ambassador for our country, represent our country, and then work hard to see that at least our athletes perform to the best of their ability, and then see the Gambian flag and the national anthem at the stadium that Gambia is on the podium. You can only hear the national anthem if you win gold. I mean, we are yet to hear the national anthem at Commonwealth Games. We had the national anthem at the African Games in Rabat 2019, in Accra 2023. Now we want to hear national anthem at Commonwealth Games. And then, yes, I think it's possible with the crop of athletes that we are going to Glasgow. They are well prepared, I can tell you, Mr. Mboch. They are well prepared. They have experience. Is experience great? And then those that are climbing on the ladder. So, I mean, now we're expecting the experienced, experienced athletes to support the young ones that have the opportunity to go to their first major international games. So yes, success will be that Gambia is going to Glasgow, perform well, come home with medals, individual athletes improve on their rankings, improve on their points. Yes.
Especially maybe PB, personal
That's
best.
exactly
Yeah.
just
For the sprinters,
break your PB. Then we'll see,
Yeah.
where that leads us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sidi Khan. I'm Communication Officer at GNOC, the Gambia National Olympic Committee. Thanks for sharing with us how we are preparing for Glasgow 2026, the Commonwealth Games. Guys, we'll just take a quick break. when we return, we're going to have Dr. Jojo Nur Tambedu, Executive Director of the TET Fund, and we'll also have Kobali Good, Director of Infrastructure and Strategic Partnerships. We're going to talk about what? TET Fund Plegathon. I'm sure you're wondering, what's that? Don't go away, we'll be right back to tell you.
In today's world, speed matters, but slow internet can hold you back. Now, the future of connectivity has arrived in the Gambia. QCell's Q-Fiber, ultra-fast, ultra-reliable internet designed for the way you live. Stream your favorite shows without buffering. Power your business with seamless video calls. Study, work, and play online like never before. From homes to businesses, QCell Fiber is connecting the Gambia to the future. QCell's Q-Fiber. Get connected today. Call 145 or 300-3779. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the QCell 5G Gaming Hub, powered by ultra-fast 5G connectivity from QCell, the fastest network in the Gambia. No lag, no limits, just pure performance. Multiple PlayStations, Xbox racing with full car wheel control, and immersive virtual reality experiences that put you inside the action. Play the biggest titles: FIFA, Call of Duty, NBA 2K, Street Fighter 6, Forza, and many more. Experience gaming like never before. The QCell 5G Gaming Center is open weekdays from 12 p.m. and weekends from 11 a.m. Closed Tuesdays. For bookings and inquiries, call 381-0008. The QCell 5G Gaming Hub. Not just gaming. This is the ultimate gaming experience.
Gambia, are you ready for something big?
From your trusted GSM operator, QCell, your favorite app just got a major upgrade.
From your phone to the world, buy credit, buy Sunu bundle packages, loan credit with eFankanta, and buy Q Power all in one place.
And here's the real upgrade. Q Money is now fully integrated in the app. Send money, pay bills, save money so faster and easier than ever.
And for our entertainment lovers, stream QTV, Q Radio Live anytime, anywhere.
But that's not all. This upgrade also brings enhanced security features, smoother performance, and a brand new interface designed to save your time.
This is more than an app.
This is freedom at your fingertips.
Download the new QCell app today and unlock your digital life.
For more information, call our customer care on 111.
QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Bokal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool call bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara. QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa
naine dake network koto mi yalonko wole warta nyimbanko kan adung adabe soniaring wole nyama imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seniaring adung internet wobe tariaring nyindung QCell dorne sinyin nati aleno ibori yela QCell line ota customer care mi suti atima bi QCell network ko mi warta network ko beti adung adabe soniaring QCell sunu boss ntollanga silo walang dulia bulan noma
Mitoma. First time cross, really threatening, and it's dropped for Minte, rifled in! Out.
Yes, good, yes.
Hello, welcome back to the program. Now, to our final segment. There's a campaign on the way right now organized by the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund. So we've got in the studio 2 people who will tell us exactly what that campaign is about. I've got Dr. Jojo Ndur Tambedu, Executive Director of the TET Fund, and I've got Kumbel Good. Earlier, I mispronounced the first name, but I think she'll forgive me. Director, Infrastructure and Strategic Partnerships, TET Fund. Ladies, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. So who's going to get us off? I've got here TET Fund, Pleasure-thon. What on earth is that?
Yes. So the Pleasure-thon is a call for investment and support into the tertiary and higher education to strengthen tertiary and higher educational institutions in the Gambia. So this is pretty much an opportunity for everybody that has had the desire to invest into education. We're giving you that opportunity. So we're raising funds to be able to invest into 4 areas in education for tertiary and higher educational institutions in the Gambia.
So this is a call to everybody, businesses, individuals,
Yes.
institutions.
Businesses, individuals, Gambians in the diaspora, philanthropists. We're making this call to all of them.
That's it.
Yes.
So how does it work? What are the daily activities, weekly activities? How does it work?
Yes.
Who would come in?
So the plan is during this season, which is why people have been seeing our faces more often than not on QTV, but we're going around making calls to individuals to actually make a pledge, hence why we have the Pleasure-thon, to make a financial pledge towards the TET Fund and our activities. And then come the date of the Pleasure-thon, which we'll announce as the date gets closer, we'll invite these individuals either into the studio physically, or they can call in and make a public declaration of the amount that they're pledging and committing towards the TET Fund. So this pretty much gives us an opportunity to know what they're pledging, but also to make it public, that this amount of funds is being brought in by so-and-so company or so-and-so individual as their commitment towards education in the Gambia.
That's it. I suppose Dr. Jojo Ndur Tambedu, I suppose you can come in here. The TET itself, why? When was it established? What's the idea? What is it supposed to solve or to help solve?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. So the TET actually stands for the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund. It was established by an Act of Parliament last year, and I was appointed in October, started work in December, and since then we've been moving from, it was an act. How can we operationalize this act? So we are now at a stage of implementing activities. Our mandate is to invest, to mobilize resources, but also invest these into our public TVET and higher education institutions. The vision is that every Gambian should have access to high quality, relevant education, and it should be accessible as well. So we have been allocated $50 million from the government, and they have been funding us. And the whole idea of this Pleasure-thon started from your chairman, Mr. Mohamed Jah, who actually donated $5 million to the TET Fund and $5 million so there are 3 funds,
yes.
tripartite funds from the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. So he donated $15 million for the 3 funds, so $5 million for the TET Fund. He is the chair of our board as well. So if the Q Group can donate $5 million, we are now, this is a call to action for other businesses. We're not asking for charity, but this is a partnership. You are investing, it's a patient investment in our youth. I mean, the question is not whether we can afford to support our youth, but can we afford not to? We have a very young population. 2 weeks ago, you probably saw the Career Fest, the National Career Fest. So we're working closely with the Q Group and GCCI for these activities. And at the National Career Fest, I still have messages from students telling me how impactful it was to them. It was an opportunity for us to show them the opportunities that are out there, to show them that they have the potential. Each of them pledged, there was a pledge wall, and they pledged on what they were going to do for the Gambia, what they wanted to be, how they were going to do it. But now it's an opportunity for also us as Gambians to take ownership and also pledge. How are we going to support our young ones to ensure that those dreams and hopes that they have are actually achieved?
Since you've started this drive, how has it been like, the reaction of the public? Has anybody come forward, aside from our chairman, of course, who already started setting the tone?
Yes.
There any individuals, businesses who committed to, okay, you know what, this is a very good initiative and I want to invest into education, especially tertiary education?
Indeed, I think from when we first started, from the stakeholder engagement, from the Career Fest, the response from the public has been amazing. From the government ministries as well, they all partnered with us. If you came to the Career Fest, I mean, it still seems like a dream right now to me, because we had thousands of people, a lot of professionals coming in to give their time. For me, it doesn't only have to be financial investment, but that investment in their time and expertise to talk to the young ones, to mentor and to guide them. So 5 million from the Q groups. We've also, there's going to be a live show, so coming soon. So the plan is to have it in the first week of August. We're working closely with Ade, Francis from your team.
Kind of a telethon, right?
It's kind of like a telethon, but the idea is that prior to the show, we have these pledges, and we'll come on the show, and we would, Kumbel has a better idea on this, but there will be checks that they'll be handing over to us. So we already have, we don't want to give out all of the institutions that have pledged, but at our Career Fest, you heard from GRA Commissioner General. They pledged and committed 200,000. We also have Trust Bank Limited that has also committed 200,000. We have quite a few other institutions. So on that day, we want to also see you, if you're watching me, to also come on the live show and give us a check and commit to invest in our youth, because a skilled nation is a rich nation.
That's it. So that's it. You mentioned the other one, telethon. So what's the advantage of this approach, the pledge-a-thon? I wonder.
Yes.
How do you?
So the advantage for us is we're giving the public an opportunity to come in and invest. So for so long, there's always been an interest in how can us as an individual or us as an institution really partner with individuals in academia or the ministry to support in terms of education. So this is us making that public. We're saying we're here, we're available, and now that this call is here, it's an opportunity for you as an individual or as an organization to come forward and say, I'm making this investment into the population. So as opposed to just wondering how you can go about it, we are now bringing the solution to the public. So this is how the information is. This is the different areas that you can invest into, and you can come on board and partner. As ED said, you can partner with the TED Fund in improving education in the Gambia.
Absolutely. Yeah. And maybe here, the beneficiaries, people will know where their money is going.
Yeah.
Of course, the whole Gambia, students anywhere, but you cannot do everybody. So who would be the sort of direct beneficiaries of all this money coming in, or resources, or whatever you may have?
So the way that our programs, we have pilot funding windows. So we're starting with numbers. So the first, we are funding interns, right? 100 interns, that's one of our pilot funding windows. We have the foundational institutional strengthening, where we visited all the public institutions, so TVET and higher education institutions all over the Gambia. I was in Basse, we were all in Mansa Conco, we went all around and we spoke to them. Right? Sometimes you know, you're in a position, you come in, you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, but what do the people need? The solutions are within our communities. So we went on the ground, we asked them what are their priority funding needs, and we have a list of these priority needs, and the government is funding that pilot funding window. So we have maybe Director Kumbel, do you want to talk about the other areas?
So yes. In addition to those, we also have digital infrastructural support for select TVET centers. But another as well, which is one of my favorite, is offering capacity building support to instructors within these tertiary institutions as well. As part of the needs assessment that we did and the gap analysis that we did over the past few months, we were able to identify the areas that some instructors need improvement in based off their input and based off their guidance as well. So we're looking at now ways to invest into these instructors as well. Because at the TED Fund, we're not just looking at, we're supporting infrastructure. We are looking at the entire ecosystem. How can the entire ecosystem benefit the student in a way that when they do leave, they're able to be absorbed well into the industry? So we're looking at infrastructure, we're looking at capacity building support for the instructors, we're looking at staff and student well-being. So these are all components that when you look at it holistically, it supports the output that all of these institutions will be making. So these are the main 4 areas that the investment will go into. And we are calling it an investment. It's not just a donation, because really you'll be seeing in a few years down the line where all these money goes to and also what the output would be for the industry. And the reason we're using this approach to make it public is for accountability and transparency from our end. We could have just sat in our offices and of course gotten the pledges and recorded them, you know, in isolation. But we are making this public because we want it to be a champion event, let's say. Not just to be an investment by the TED Fund, but a Gambian investment into education, because we will all own that. Once your money is involved, then you are invested in it. And once it's made public and declared for everybody, then everybody is indeed interested in, okay, now that we've put in this money, how can we then further partner with the TED Fund to make sure that the funds are allocated accordingly? So there's a method to the approach that we're using.
That's it. And both of you can really answer this. But you know, now we've become so cynical. So anything to do with public money, oh, they're so corrupt, they're just taking our money to steal it. So surely you must sort of reassure, you must have a kind of communication strategy to reassure people that, no, we are not going to do that. Everything is transparent, and that will surely affect the number of people who would contribute.
So that's why we didn't start with a telethon, right? And the telethon is where you now open it to the general public. Of course, we understand that what the government, I already told you what the government has committed. We understand we cannot get as much as what the government has committed, but this is a call to action. It's more of an investment. If you, all the doctors, all the engineers, all the teachers, everybody, everything starts from education. So this, a lot of the times our government cannot have this call to action and get funding from everywhere, but our act allows us to mobilize resources from different stakeholders. So for us, it's government has given us this much. What are you also investing towards the future of our students? We can say, okay, government has given us 50 million this year. That's all we're going to now use and invest in our youth. But we believe that our youth deserve more as well, right? We're from a relatively a low-income country, right? So this is what the budget allocation is. But why should we just reduce the development to what is available? Okay. We are now calling out to everybody to say, come, join forces with us, join our efforts, be it your expertise, be it your knowledge, be it your time, be it your finances to join us. So we're not doing a telethon where it's the general public, but we're now starting off with the corporations, see how it works. What are we able to now get from them? What is their commitment? And then possibly there might be a telethon at a later date for the general public to also come in and invest.
What's been the biggest challenge you organizers are facing? Some of them.
Some of them. I believe it's getting everybody or certain corporations to understand what we mean when we say investment. Okay. Because of course going to somebody and asking them to part with their money is not always the easiest conversation.
That's true.
But what we've been doing strategically is getting them to understand what the impact of that investment would be. Once we're able to overcome that, then the conversation becomes easier, and that's why we've been getting more and more interest. But the initial conversation in me saying, oh, maybe you should part with this amount of money to invest into education is always a bit tricky. But once the approach we're using is, instead of just saying, give us the money for this, we're showing you where the funds would be invested into, the areas and the impact, and we're giving you numbers as well. As Edie mentioned, we're talking about 100 interns, we're talking about 10 instructors, we're talking about 13 institutions. So we're giving you all these numbers, that way once the investment is made, you can really even have a mental check of, this is how much is being spent, which we will be doing. One thing we want to do as well, which is again why we're making it this public, is to have an impact report at the end. So this is how much was raised, and this is how much we've invested, and these are the areas that we've invested into. So that really becomes transparent for everybody. You're at least aware and know where the money is being spent. Yeah.
Well, when it comes to the beneficiaries, how do they get access to these that fund in terms of do they apply for something? Do they have to be a skills institution where you people would look at and say, okay, this is a place that needs support, we need to invest in our youth, and then you invest the funds in there?
Sure. So with our activities, like the first activity we did, the Career Fest, this was a free event open to all the youth. Over almost 2,000 people attended the fest, and they benefited from this. This was funded by the government of the Gambia. When it comes to our pilot funding windows, so the first one, which was the Foundation Institutional Strengthening Window, this was a closed call. This was also funded by the government of the Gambia. So it was a closed call for all the public TVET and higher education institutions. With regards to the other pilot funding windows, the internship, so this would be an open call, but to those public institutions that are under our mandate. But for students as well, it's open to all Gambian students that are attending these institutions.
Good. Yes, I wonder. Okay. So, I pledge. So how do I give you the money?
You want to start?
when
you want
donate.
to pledge? Are you pledging?
Absolutely. So let's put it that way. Let's reduce
it
to that level.
We're writing
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to pledge. What do I do next?
Yes. So the first thing is to reach out to us, which you can reach out via our phone number 730-6181, or you can send an official email to info@tetfund.gm. And we'll send you all the bank details that you would require to either make a deposit, or you can also give us a check, which we'll accept. But once you reach out to us and you express your interest, we have a set list of guidance to offer you. But it's quite simple. Just reach out and we'll send the bank details and you make the payment.
Yeah.
And come the day of the telethon, you'll be invited to call it, Pledgeathon. You'll be invited to call in and again make just public the amount that has been offered to the TED Fund. So the process is quite easy. Yeah.
Good. You have any targets? Have you set yourself targets?
I don't want to say it.
We want to say when we meet the target, we'll come in and we'll let you know that we met the target.
Just to also say that I think, which is a challenge, Gambians, they like investing within their family like structure, right? And not outside. But also Gambians, they like to complain about, this is not working here, our education system here, or our youth are not. But now this is an opportunity for you to contribute towards that. Yeah. Every dollar every butu that's invested is going directly to improve the skill set of our young ones and make them more workforce ready. But also to mention that a few days ago, our ministry launched a national internship policy. So they validated the national internship policy for the Gambia. So a lot of strides have been done. So we're just calling on everybody just to contribute towards these efforts so that we can have the Gambia that we all envision and hope for.
That's it. And you tap into the diaspora. They have a special diaspora thing to get them to send the dollars and pounds.
Yes.
Yes, we have been in communication with members of the diaspora, and we're hoping that they'll also come on board as we make the call public. But information is being shared with members of the diaspora, yes.
Yes, we need you.
Still in the issue of transparency and accountability, if somebody pledges something and then wants to pay, she talks about having a bank account details and then you pay directly. So it doesn't go into hands. In terms of transparency, is it that way? Like you either pay through a check or you pay through a bank account that is being allocated for this particular thing?
Yes, that strategy was intentional. We don't want any funds to go through any individual. So that's why once you send us the information that or express interest, we'll forward you the bank details or a check, which would be, of course, in the institution's name, and then payment will be made accordingly. But all funds will go directly into the institution's bank account.
Yes, also to say that we have only one bank account, and it's a central bank account. Yes. We don't have any commercial bank accounts. We're not taking any. So if anyone tells you I'm collecting funds on behalf of TED Fund, no, don't send it. So those bank details would be provided. This has been provided by Central Bank to us. There will be a clear reference showing that these funds are because of the Pledgeathon, and as we mentioned, everybody that pledges on that day, you have to come online or give us a call, or someone can talk on your behalf to say that this is how much you have pledged. And when you pledge also, we will try to you have committed.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? You have
Absolutely,
committed
yeah.
towards a particular activity. And if there is one specific activity that you want to also fund directly without sending us the funds, we're happy as well. We have a target. That's all we're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. So, for this campaign, what's the duration?
So the Pledgeathon itself will be in the first week of August. So during this period, it's just to raise awareness and get people to come on board as partners prior to the day. Yes, but we have about 2 weeks leading up where we'll be engaging these institutions, and hopefully when you knock, when we knock at your door, you'll open the door for us.
Sure.
You'll come and sit. Yeah.
But also to say, even after the live Pledgeathon, it's still a call to action to invest, even if it's not directly to the TED Fund, to other activities that are currently going on. A lot of the times we sit somewhere and we say government this, government this. Government cannot do it alone. Ñun ñoo bokk dëkk bi, ñoo moom dëkk bi, right? It starts from the home, right? Bringing up our youth the right way, investing in their education, in higher education. Gambia should really be transformed into an education economy where we are attracting students from all over the region. Why can't we do that? So that is our vision, to ensure that the quality of education in the Gambia, the infrastructure, if you go to Faraba, mashallah, it's beautiful. But we need to make sure that we have that infrastructure all over the Gambia, and we are attracting students and the education that when they leave the university, they're not only leaving with a certificate, but they're living with hope for the future, with the right jobs and gainful employment.
Absolutely. I mean, our biggest asset really has been people. We've got only peanuts, so that's natural resource. We don't have anything under the ground. So our biggest asset ever since has always been the people. I like asking this question. So, how will you measure the success of the Pledgeathon? How will you measure it? What would you say that afterwards, the day after? Oh, we can tick the boxes, so therefore successful.
Yeah.
How do you
So the first one is, of course, if we're able to meet our goal, our target, and the second would be the impact of the Pledgeathon. So it's not just about raising the funds, but it's about the impact that we'll make at the end.
Yes. Can I add?
Absolutely. You've got 15 seconds.
Yes, okay. So just to say that the finances are important, but the branding, the visibility, but also what happens after the Pledgeathon. Do we have more responses from employers, from industry? Are they partnering with us? Are they taking it interns? So these are all success metrics that we would use to measure the success and impact.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dr. Jojo Ndur Tambedu and Kumbel Good from the TED Fund.
Thank you.
Gaj, we've come to the end.
Yes, before you know it.
Absolutely. This week. So next week, fans of Ibrahim Balde, he'll be back. I'm Mahmoud Mbuj. Goodbye.